She was just an 18-year-old girl sold off by her own father, but when the rancher bought her, nobody knew that innocent heart would change everything. Under the relentless blaze of a summer sun, in a quiet rural hamlet where dust swirled with every step, 18-year-old Clara stood in the yard of her childhood home. Her faded dress clung to her, her bare feet pressed into the cracked earth, and her trembling hands betrayed the storm in her heart. She avoided the gaze of her father, Amos, a man carved by hardship, his face etched with lines of toil and bitterness. His voice, rough as gravel, carried no warmth. To him, Clara was a burden, a daughter when he'd craved a son to share the labor of their struggling farm. I needed a boy to work the fields, not a girl who's only good for scrubbing pots. Amos spat, his words slicing through the heavy air. You're no use to me here. On that sweltering afternoon, he struck a deal that turned Clara's world upside down. He faced Elias, a weathered rancher with a reputation for being unyielding, and declared, I'm trading her for a strong ox and enough coin to clear my debts. I'm done carrying her weight. Elias, tall and broad, his hands rough from years of ranch work, nodded curtly. It's a deal. No attachments, just business. Inside the small house, Clara's mother, Ruth, wept quietly, her voice breaking as she pleaded, Amos, she's our daughter. Don't do this. But Amos's fist slammed against the table, silencing her. Enough, Ruth. It's done. Clara fought back tears, her dreams of a wider world crumbling as her worth was measured in livestock and coin. Elias gestured for her to follow, his expression unreadable. Come on, Clara. You don't belong here anymore. The wagon ride to Elias's sprawling ranch was cloaked in silence. The creak of wheels and the thud of hooves filled the void where words failed. Clara's heart ached, caught between fear and a flicker of hope as the vast ranch came into view. Endless fences, sturdy barns, and fields stretching beyond sight. It was a world apart from her cramped, joyless home. Elias led her to the main house, his voice gruff. You'll work hard here. No room for laziness. Clara nodded, swallowing the lump in her throat. The cook, Hannah, greeted her with a warm smile, a small beacon of kindness in the stark new reality. But Elias's cold distance set the tone for Clara's first days, filled with grueling tasks under the scorching sun, tending livestock, cleaning, and hauling water. Each mistake drew his sharp rebuke. Do it right, or don't bother, he'd mutter, arms crossed, his eyes hard. Yet Clara persisted, her hands growing calloused, her resolve hardening. One afternoon, as she struggled with a heavy water pail, a voice broke her focus. You're Clara, right? It was Jonah, Elias's teenage son, his grin easy and warm. Need a hand? We help each other out here. His kindness was a balm, but Elias remained a wall of stone, watching her efforts with a critical eye. One evening, Clara found Elias on the porch, staring at the starlit sky. Summoning her courage, she approached. Mr. Elias, have I done something to upset you? Her voice quivered. He didn't turn, his tone clipped. It's not about you. Weakness doesn't survive out here. His words stung, but Clara sensed a shadow of pain behind them, a story he kept locked away. Weeks passed, each day a test of endurance. Clara rose before dawn, fetching water, tending the garden, and learning the rhythms of the ranch. The work was relentless, but small victories, sprouting vegetables, a clean barn, gave her purpose. At night, she lay in her narrow bed, fighting homesickness, dreaming of open fields where she ran free, her laughter unchained. Elias, too, began to notice her. He saw her quiet determination, the way she smiled at Hannah despite her exhaustion. It stirred something in him, though he hid it behind his gruff demeanor. One morning, as Clara struggled to milk a cow, her hands clumsy and the milk spilling, Elias approached. Like this, he said, crouching beside her. His rough hands guided hers, showing her the steady rhythm. It's not force, it's patience. Clara's breath caught at his closeness, the scent of leather and earth grounding her. You've done this forever, haven't you? She asked softly. Since I was a boy, he replied, a rare softness in his voice. My first cow nearly knocked me flat. A faint chuckle escaped him, and Clara laughed too, the sound breaking the tension between them. For a moment, their eyes met, and something shifted, a crack in the wall he'd built. As days turned to weeks, Clara and Elias's interactions grew less strained. She learned from him, and he, reluctantly, began to soften. One afternoon, Jonah shared a secret by the garden. Pa wasn't always this hard. Ma died when I was born, and it broke him. He's scared to feel anything again. Clara's heart ached for Elias, seeing the grief he carried like a shield. When Jonah mentioned Elias's upcoming birthday, Clara's eyes lit up. "Let's surprise him," she whispered. "Something to show he's not alone." She planned quietly, enlisting Jonah's help. On Elias's birthday, the ranch glowed with the soft light of lanterns. Clara prepared a modest feast: roasted chicken, fresh greens, cornbread, and cool lemonade, all arranged on a table adorned with wildflowers. When Elias returned from the fields, he froze, his eyes scanning the scene. "What's all this?" he asked, his voice wary. "It's for you," Clara said, her hands twisting nervously. "Happy birthday." Elias sat, his movements hesitant, as if unaccustomed to kindness. The meal was simple but heartfelt, each bite carrying Clara's care. He ate slowly, his usual sternness softening. "It's good," he said quietly, his eyes meeting hers. "Really good." Clara's heart soared at the rare praise. After dinner, she leaned forward. "I just wanted you to feel special tonight." Elias's gaze lingered, a warmth breaking through. "You didn't have to," he murmured, but his tone held gratitude. Clara smiled. Sometimes, even the toughest people need a little light. The next morning, Elias surprised her. "Come with me," he said, leading her to a gentle mare. "Time you learned to ride." He helped her mount, his hands steady, and rode beside her, guiding her through the fields. Clara's laughter rang out, free and bright, and Elias's guarded smile betrayed his growing affection. They rode to a secluded grove, where a stream sparkled under the trees. "I used to come here as a kid," he said, his voice low. "It was my escape." Clara listened as he spoke of his past, his harsh father, the loss of his wife in childbirth, the weight of raising Jonah alone. "I built walls to survive," he admitted. "But you're tearing them down." Clara touched his arm gently. "You don't have to be alone, Elias." Their eyes locked, and in that moment, something unspoken passed between them. His hand found hers, tentative but sure. "I don't know how to do this," he whispered. Clara smiled. "We'll figure it out together." Their bond grew through shared work and quiet moments on the porch, where stories and laughter replaced silence. Elias gifted Clara a small fruit tree one day, saying, "We'll plant it together. Something to grow with us." Tears welled in her eyes at the promise in his words. Years passed, and their love deepened. Clara, once a frightened girl, became a confident partner, taming horses and tending the land beside Elias. He learned to laugh freely, his heart no longer bound by grief. They married under a wide sky, Jonah beaming as their ring bearer. At the celebration, Clara's mother arrived, free from her own painful past. "Your father's gone," she said, tears streaming. "I'm starting over." Clara embraced her, feeling the weight of her old life lift. A year later, their son, Samuel, was born, a bright, healthy boy. Jonah, now a proud big brother, grinned as Elias held the baby, vowing he'll know love every day. The ranch, once a place of solitude, echoed with joy and new beginnings, proof that even the hardest hearts could find healing in love's quiet persistence.